History repeats itself. It fails to die. You are now tuned into But What is Life podcast, the ride to relax, relate, and release into reality where things get fun, real, and the advice is unsolicited. What's up, it's your girl Ani, and I'm back at you to relax, relate, and release into yet another episode of But What is Life. How y'all doing today? I hope y'all doing great, because I'm doing real good. So this morning I had to go pop up at my kid at the school today. Sat up there for about an hour and a half and whatnot. And here we are, trying to go ahead and rush and get this episode recorded so I can head back out. Today's episode was inspired by my conversation with my bestie, my sis, my good sis, Taylor. We were having a conversation, and it was basically about being friends with the opposite sex, but also tied into being friends with an ex. So that's what we're talking about today. Let's go ahead and relax into, can men and women be friends? Platonic friends. And what is your take on being friends with an ex? So I told her that I feel like men and women can be friends. Platonic friends, nothing more, nothing less. It's just a genuine friendship where both parties love and care for each other, but more in a brotherly, sisterly way. There's different people in different situations that complicates this idea, and it also depends on just where a person is with their mindset. That's honestly what I feel about it. Like, just vaguely just putting it out there, I feel like it takes a maturity level that is not based upon a low vibrating frequency. First of all, it takes boundaries and just an understanding of what this is. And of course, too, I feel it's based around how this friendship came about, too. But then again, some friendships, they can start out as someone was, one of the people were like attracted to the other, tried to see where it would go, and they just knew that it didn't work out in a romantic trajectory of the relationship, so they just settle for platonic. I also told Taylor that someone that you were actually in a romantic relationship with, me personally, I feel like when you spend time with a person, however long that may have been, especially if it was a long time, that love for that individual, it doesn't go away. Now, she did agree with that as far as, that love not going away, but we saw it differently. I feel like, if this also depends on how it ends too. If it was a mutual understanding and it's just like, okay, I'm just not feeling this no more. Like, I still love you as a person. I love you as, you know, a friend, but not in the capacity of us being lovers. If that's a mutual understanding, hell, even if it's not a mutual understanding, I don't feel like it should end where it's like you go back to being strangers as if you don't know a person. I just feel like that's stupid. Not saying that when you get out of a relationship with somebody that you just have to be the best of friends with that person, because our relationships are not standing on a foundation of friendship in the first fucking place. Let's be real about that. But also, if there is still a love for that person and y'all do still get along great as friends, of course with time and healing, I feel like there should be a time where you should be able to talk to that person just in the capacity as a friend, as an associate, or just somebody that you know very well, and y'all get along great. It just did not work out as far as the romantic relationship. Not saying that you got to talk on the phone every day and all of that kind of stuff, especially when it comes to new relationships after the fact. Of course, you're not just going to have your ex all up in your new uh significant other's face or whatever. But if once time has gone past, I think that it's very well possible that there could be some type of rapport that is exchanged between the two exes. Just every now and again, if you see each other out or whatever the case may be. Like, I just feel like it shouldn't be like, oh, I used to date this person, or I was married to this person, whatever the case may be, for X amount of time, and I don't know them no more. Like, I just don't feel like it should be like that. I feel like that's just very childish. Of course, when you have situations where kids are involved, um me personally, I would like for okay, let me paint the picture for y'all how I would like to see it with my child's father. Whatever happened with us in a romantic capacity, that's done and over with. Let's not dwell on it. I feel like for our our child's sake, it should be a united front, and our child should not feel any type of disconnect when it comes to me and his father. And when I say disconnect, I'm saying as far as I don't feel like my son should be like, oh, well, my parents ain't together no more. So it's never, it's either this over here or is that over there. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be a united front for our child where it's like, yeah, my parents ain't together, but I don't really feel that because they still work well together when it comes to me. They cool, they get along, they can, talk, they can laugh, they can have a good time together, and it's not so much of a burden on him, on his shoulders so much, where it's just like, okay, I gotta worry about this or that. Whatever the dynamic is between me and his dad, I just don't feel like it should be disheartening to him. Now, that's not to say that me and his father would be the best of friends. We would talk on the phone all the time, but just coming from that situation and me knowing that we had a friendship, I would like it to be, if I had to call him and talk to him regarding our child, we could talk about that, and then we could like catch up. Hey, what's been going on? What you been up to? Oh, for real, word. Like, just catch up. Like, boom. And that's it. Or like, for instance, y'all always, when you know a person, um, you there's certain things that happen in y'all's time together when y'all actually separate, whether it be like a mirror or you go to a store or just a song, something reminds you of that person. So of course I have my things that reminds me of my son's father, and then it when those things happen, or when something happens that reminds me of him, or I'm listening to a certain type of music or whatever the case may be, it makes me think of, the happy times, not as far as us in a relationship. It just makes me think of him like that was my nigga, bro. Like, for real. Like, at the end of the day, even still today, like, even when he gets on my nerves, like, that is still my nigga. And I would love for it to be a situation where I can just call and be like, yeah, I was just listening to such and such, and it just made me think about you, nigga. What you doing? Like, that's how I want it to be. Now, I understand, just because I want it to be that way doesn't mean that it is going to be that way, but that's just how I look at things. So I feel like when it comes to friendships with an ex after the fact, not in the time when you should be healing, when you should be giving yourself time and space and figuring out what your life is without this person now. Once that time has passed, I do feel like it should be a thing where, especially if kids are involved, it should be a thing where, you can come together and you can coexist. Now, as far as just a random person that you met, y'all fell in love, whatever the case may be, not saying that y'all got to be on the phone all the time or whatnot. But if you was to see that person, or if they called you just because they know that you're good at listening or giving advice, if they just decided to call you one day and try to talk to you about something, and pick your brain about something, I just don't feel like that should be a big thing. It really shouldn't be so complicated. As far as just being friends with the opposite sex, I definitely feel like that is possible as well, because everything is not all about attraction, or I like you, you like me. It's not always all about that. Like, first of all, we all on this planet together, and we're all coexisting, whether we're aware of it or not. There's things that women can provide for men in a capacity of a friendship, and vice versa, that the same sex just cannot do. Um and the conversation is definitely different when it's with the opposite sex. I feel like we all learn from each other, and we all set examples from one another, whether we know it or not. And I just feel like I shouldn't just limit myself, or any of you listening. I don't feel like we should just limit ourselves to only being friends with a person that got the same genitals as us. Like, that's just stupid to me. Like, your mama and your daddy coexisted for your ass to be here, so why the fuck can't Ray Sean have a friend over here by the name of Shaniqua? Bitch, what's the problem? Humans just make shit so fucking difficult, and it don't even have to be that way. When you just look at other species like dogs, cats, fucking squirrels, shit is just so fucking simple. Like, of course, they have they quarrels and all of that and stuff that goes on in their world. But when you look at an animal compared to humans, life for animals just seems so much simpler than it does for fucking humans. And I feel like that's because you have all these different personalities, all these different opinions, ideas, and thoughts that just come together, and then you have a majority, and then you have the minority, and then whoever is in the majority thinks that they overrule when it comes to certain things, or I should say simple things, as far as being who you can be friends with. Like, you can't tell me who I can and cannot be friends with, and then you also cannot tell me that that shit don't work. Bitch, just because it don't work for you, don't mean that it does not work for me. So now this takes us into the relating portion of this situation. Me personally, I have had a male best friend since I was 16 years old. We're still friends today. We have never had sex. I have never taken a liking to him. It's always been platonic. It has always been me seeing him as like my how I see my little brother. Like, I don't even look at this man in the capacity of, ooh, he fine as fuck. Like, I want to fuck him. Like, never have I ever, bitch. Never. Like, I can talk to this man about anything. We talk about life in general. Me and him, we're nerds. He's actually more of a nerd than I am. He's really like into science. So we be talk about stuff like as far as like the planets and stuff like that, and like we talk about all types of shit, okay? And that's my nigga. Like, at the end of the motherfucking day, that's my motherfucking nigga. I actually, when I was in a relationship like in the past, I actually kind of stopped being friends with him because of my relationship. And it was all because I was trying to make sure, the person that I was in a relationship with felt comfortable or whatever. And in retrospect, looking back at that, it's kind of just like, I would never do that again. And this has nothing, this don't play into the whole being friends with an ex, but it plays into that opposite sex friendship when you are with somebody. um I realized that my position of pushing him to the back burner for my man, especially because we was so young anyway, it was just like that wasn't fair, because he was there before I got in a relationship with this dude. And even though I pushed him to the side or whatever the case may be, he's still here now after that nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely one of those things where it's just like, oh no, that is forbidden. Absolutely not. And I just understand now, especially where my mindset is now. It's like, if a man is not, if his mindset is not vibrating on the frequency, is not allowing him to vibrate on the frequency that I'm vibrating on or higher, bitch, we're not going to be able to coexist. Because how can you tell me that a friend that I have had all these years, you gonna sit here and tell me that I ain't never had no relations with him up until now, but now that you here, since you so motherfucking special, I'm gonna decide to do something with this man now because you here. It's like, nah, y'all, you can't be friends with him. Like, first of all, you're not gonna tell me. I feel like when it comes to relationships, you cannot tell people who they can and cannot have in their lives. Like, you just cannot do that, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, because you don't know if that relationship is gonna last, baby. It may be good right then and there, but that don't mean it's gonna last always. That's not what that means. So shit happens. And it's like, especially if a motherfucker is really there for you and loyal and whatnot, like, I'm not about to push that motherfucker to the back burner for you. Who the fuck are you, bitch? Fuck you. So, yeah, I feel like it's possible. And I have a male best friend. And, he has, right now, I call her his wife, but, he has a girlfriend or whatever. And it's to the point now because, he would tell me how, he would tell people, like, especially like before he got with, his woman now, like, just people in the past, like, over the years, like, he would tell them, like, yeah, I got a best friend, I got a female best friend or whatever. And he told me that he would always let them know up front, so it wasn't like a surprise. And it was basically always like, if you can't handle that, or if you don't like that, then this ain't gonna work, because that's my motherfucking dog, and I'm not about to stop being friends with her just so I can be with you, and then this shit probably don't even work. So either you gonna get down with it or you not. That's pretty much how he presented it to, people in the past or whatever. And, also with his woman now. But now it's to the point that me and his wife, like, me and her cool as, like, first of all, she fucking cool as a motherfucking fan, bitch. Okay? She cool as fuck. And, like, me and her, we're kind of like building like a rapport together, to where I actually feel comfortable, just being with her, where he don't even have to be there. Like, and I just feel like it's an adult, grown up, very mature, situation, where it's like, okay, I see that y'all are friends, and I'm not gonna try to come in between that. And if, on my side, it's like, he's just my friend. I don't want nothing more. I don't want nothing less. None of that. I don't want to come in between y'all. None of that. Like, I understand that there are boundaries, and at the end of the day, I'm going to stick to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, shit, now that motherfucker, he be trying to tell his wife, like, you need to back up, like, that's my friend. But it's like, nigga, I could be both of y'all's friend, period, bitch. Like, that's the type of shit that I'm on. Like, let's be grown about this shit. At the end of the day, it is what the fuck it is. So that's how I relate to it. Now we're gonna go ahead and release into this shit. I've said everything thus far, all to say, whether it's an ex or a platonic friendship, at the end of the day, you cannot control a person into doing what you want them to do. I think I said this in one of my previous episodes. I don't know which one it was. You can go back and check. My mama always told me, you can't tell a grown person what to do, because a grown person is always going to do what a grown person wants to do. So, when it comes to a romantic relationship capacity, and you saying, oh, well, you can't be friends with your ex. First of all, you don't have authority to tell somebody who they can and cannot be friends with. And also, you cannot try to make it seem as if it's so much more of a threat, because you know that your person spent time with this person in the past. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter who it is. If that person steps out on you with anybody, they did that because it's something wrong with that individual. It is something wrong with their integrity. It is something wrong with them and how they decide and choose to show up for you. So when you try to decide what a massive group of people should and should not do. You cannot vaguely categorize this or that because every person is different. Everybody is not operating on the same frequency. Everybody's mindset is definitely not the same. You have people that still have not healed from childhood traumas or past relationship traumas to where they can't even wrap their mind around a new fucking idea or a new way of doing things from what they've done in the past. So just because Ray Ray told you that he had a female best friend and ended up fucking her does not mean that Randall is going to go and fuck his platonic friend, because those are two different people. Those are two different situations, and you also have to take in account the people in these situations. Like, if you are if you don't set those boundaries, I kind of already released into this in the relaxing portion of this, but if you don't have those boundaries, that understanding, and I don't even remember what the other one was that I said. But I feel like those two are key. Those are kind of the main things that you have to have. You have to have those boundaries and that understanding of what something is. If y'all are not on the same page with that, y'all not going to be on the same page with nothing. No matter if it's having friends with the opposite sex or being friends with an ex, to deciding which fucking what kind of flavor ice cream is best. That's what I was trying to get out. Couldn't get it. But yeah, like that's just how I feel. It's like, let's not be so ignorant when it comes to these different things, all because a person have showed you that it can't work with them in the past, or it doesn't, it's not something that you have ever participated in. Like, we have to stop being so closed-minded to stuff. And I get it, everybody has their opinions or whatever the case may be, and you're entitled to that, but not necessarily say that they're wrong, but try to tell them that something doesn't work because you don't believe that it works. At the end of the day, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Your parents or somebody around you, an authoritative figure, teachers, I'm pretty sure everybody listening to this has heard that a time or two ever since you was a little ass kid. You can do anything that you put your mind to. If you feel like you can be friends, if you are a woman and you feel like you can be friends with this man over here and there's nothing else that partakes in that relationship other than, really just loving and caring for each other and good ass conversation and help each other build and elevate and grow, go and do that shit. Fuck what anybody else got to say. They just, closed-minded people. And they holding on to shit that happened to them in the past. Now, I will let y'all know that my friend Taylor, she does not agree. We basically agree to disagree. She don't feel like it can work. I do feel like it can work. And, she basically also said that, based off of her past experiences, nobody has shown her that it can work. So that's what she's sticking to. And for anybody else out there that feels the way that she does, all I can say to you is, you can't put something on somebody else that somebody else did. Like, that's just, you just can't do that. And I actually told her that. Because I also feel like there's things that just happen in life where you can have two people that are together. They came together because they had a mutual group of friends, and then they decide that they don't want to be together anymore. But they also decide that, well, I understand that me and you not together no more, but these is still my friends, and I'm not about to stop being friends with them because you are still in the group. So they tend to coexist because They feel like their friendship with the other people in the mutual group is more important than what happened between them two. So you have your, like I said, you have your different situations, you have your different peoples and different levels that they're on. And just because you can't wrap your mind around what somebody is successfully doing over here, don't mean that it don't make sense and it don't work. That's what it is at the end of the day. Grow a little, okay? Heal yourselves from what has happened to you in the past. Let that shit go and elevate. Please. That's all I can say. Random of the day. So, Celir, www.celirvibes.com. That is www.celire, as in Victor, B as in boy, S.com. Head over there. Juneteenth, June 19th, 2021. We will be launching the self-care collection. You can always follow at Celir LLC, CELIRE LLC on Instagram to stay updated. We got some new products rolling out. Also, it's a limited edition. So when it drops, if you don't get yours, sorry for you because it won't be coming back. But yeah, that's the random of the day. I gotta wrap this up because she gotta head on out. So if ain't nobody told you that they love y'all today, just know that I love y'all and I want to thank y'all for listening to this week's episode. And until the next episode, I want y'all to relax, relate, and release into being motherfucking friends with whoever you want to be motherfucking friends with, bitch. Fuck what the rest got to say.